Just get the show on the road. We ready to go? We go. Right. Right, ladies and gentlemen and councillors, welcome to 2026, our first council meeting, which is February. It's about 2 months since we've had one. And welcome back. And I'm looking forward to the next 12 months. Everything's going fast enough as it is. As we know, 1st of March is next Sunday, and away we go. But we are here. There's quite a lot of events happening within our council area, whether there's races or whatever it may be. But we do have had an issue in Lake Jellicoe back earlier, and I'll cover that in the Mayoral Minute through to what's happening there. So I think that's all done. And first of all, I'd like to please note that today's meeting, other than confidential sessions, are being recorded and will be placed on Council's website. All in attendance should refrain from making defamatory statements. Councillors take all care when maintaining privacy. However, members of the public gallery and those addressing Council should be aware that they may be recorded. Now I'd like to ask Councillor Turner if she would like to do the acknowledgement of the country and elders. Thank you. Councillor. Yep, you're right.
Lachlan Shire Council acknowledges the Wiradjuri people as the traditional custodians of this land. We recognise their strength and resilience and pay respect to elders past, present and emerging, and to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are part of the Lachlan Shire community.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. And I just also remind that our Corporate Services Director is actually online. Some of them might, because and also I think Karen, once she's done her report, she has to move on. All right, now apologies and requests of leave of absence. Have we got any apologies? I think we've got everybody here, haven't we? So no requests of leave of absence in the future? If not, we shall move on. Now, confirmations of the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 10th of December 2025. Because someone like to move that it's true and correct recording of that particular meeting. Councillor Brady, Councillor Whiten. All those in favour? Those against? I find that is carried. Right, now to page 5, I think it is. Yes, the Mayoral Minute of meetings and functions that the Mayor and Deputy Mayor have been at. You have them in front of you there. Would someone like to move that they are the meetings that we attended? Councillor Brady, second up. Councillor Rees. So no questions on what's been happening. I didn't think it was. I thought January was supposed to be a quiet month. It hasn't happened that way. If not, all those in favour? Those against? That's carried. Now the Mayoral Minute, a minute of silence for Lake Jellicoe. I'd like to actually read this particular Mayoral Minute out, and we will do our minute of silence at the end of this. I want to formally recognise the tragedy of the shooting. I'll need to move in a second for a start. Councillor Blewett, Councillor Turner. I want to formally recognise the tragedy of the shooting at Lake Jellicoe with a minute of silence, but before we do that, I will put this tragedy into perspective. 4 people were shot, with the loss of 4 lives. In total, 1 seriously injured in our Lachlan Shire Council, with a population of only 6,094. There are no comparisons to the Bondi event, where 15 people were killed together, and with one of perpetrator in Waverley Council with a population of 68,605. On a per capita basis, it would be equivalent to losing 3 times the number in Bondi, and those were our residents, people that lived in our community. There wouldn't be a person in Lake Jellicoe that doesn't know either one of the victims, the alleged perpetrators, or their families. So as we acknowledge a minute's silence, I want you all to show our respect for those killed and injured on the Thursday afternoon in January. Sophie Quinn and her unborn child, Nadia Quinn, Sophie's aunt, John Harris and Colette McQueen, injured. I would like to thank Jerry Collins, the Director of Regional Coordination from the Premier's Department, for keeping me up to date with the coordinated response on the ground at Lake Agilico. I would also like to thank Jamie Chaffey, MP, Federal Member for Parks, for coming out to Lake Agilico the days afterwards, as well as Scott Barrett, MLC, for joining the Council on Australia Day ceremony at Lake Agilico. These thanks are extended to Roy Butler, MP, State Member for Barwon, for his personal support of Lake Agilico. It's important that as leaders across the state, federal and local politics, we continue to send a message that violence is not the answer to our social problems, and we do not forget Lake Agilico. I acknowledge the calls of support from the Premier, Chris Minns, the New South Wales Governor, Margaret Beazley, together with the calls and emails from many mayors and general managers both in the Central West and beyond. I would like to thank my family, especially my wife, for her support through this attendance with me and John Harris's funeral in Cobar. Lake Agilico is a resilient agricultural and light manufacturing hub, a small town on the banks of the largest inland waterway in Lachlan Shire. The lake is popular for all manners of water sports, bird watching, fishing and camping. It is a great little town with a proud Wiradjuri culture, history and many community-based organisations that make a real difference to the livability of this town. It is a rich mineral resources and is poised to expand with growing commodity prices. I'd like to refer to the lake as the pearl of the Lachlan Shire Council, and we will not forget. Could everybody be upstanding, please, for a minute of silence? Thank you very much. If you'd like to take your seats. Is there any comment that you'd like to make on that Merrill minute before I put it? If not, all those in favour? Those against? It is carried. All right, public forum. We haven't got any names down for the public forum today. Disclosures of interest. I have one here from Peter Harris on 8.3. Yep.
Public forum, how long before?
What did you look at? I'll just send this from the GM.
3 days. 3 days prior to the meeting.
That's okay.
Yeah, the question was asked this morning actually too about that.
Yeah, well, a person rang me this morning about it as well, and I said you have to give prior notice, a few days prior notice.
It's also got to be in the business paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said at least a week beforehand.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Right, any
Thanks.
further disclosures of interest? I've got Peter's. If not, we don't need them a second for that, do we? All right, moving on to page 20. I've read and note code of, it's 8.1 to 8. Somewhere here. Yeah, 8.1 to 8.9. So is there anything in that you want to... 8.9, if there's no other... 8.5. All right. Oh, 8.8, 8.9, 8.5. Would someone like to move that 8.1 to 8.4? Councillor Harris, Councillor Turner. All those in favour? Those against is carried. Right now, 8.1. Would you like to move that, please? 8.5, yeah. Councillor Brady, second to Councillor Whiten. Right, what discussion?
The discussion is tourism, and I looked at the tourism report, which is a very good report, and I do know that tourism has really gone ahead in the last few years, especially since we have got that new tourist information centre. And it doesn't matter where you travel around, we get told about it from different places. Oh, you've got Condo and you've got that. And I said, it's also Lachlan Shire's tourist information centre, not just Condo. But I just thought, well, it's a great tourist report. And she was talking about how the banners for the new utes in the paddock, which have gone up, I've seen the other day. But there isn't any advertising on the Jockeys Memorial. And I would, since we had one of our general managers, the reason that we got the Jockeys Memorial, I just feel that we should have a bit more publicity on the Jockeys Memorial, so people will, because there are people who come to Condo, find it, and said, I had a relation. One of those jockeys was my uncle, cousin, relation. And when Robert wanted it, that was the original idea for it. We seem to have, and rightly so, Utes in the Paddock is a great draw card. Also, the statues from Forbes down to Condo is also another great draw card. But since we've got the Jockeys Memorial there, I think there should be some way that I know I've spoken to Robert about it, and she says it is in the pipeline. Just I hope we can get to the end of the pipeline so we could see something about it. It was 800 and something jockeys have been killed ever since they started racing in Australia or trading racehorses. And I just think it's just something that we should be promoting.
You want to say anything about that? Yeah. And I think you'll find it has been on Facebook, the Jockeys Memorial itself, but I know, but anyway, I think Ian might cover it because I think we're doing a lot more between Lachlan and Forbes and Parks when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah, certainly a lot of shared work between ourselves, Forbes and Parks. And as you well know, the Jockeys Memorial is front and centre on the entrance to the Visitor Information Centre and the Utes in the Paddock. So, but I'll take it on notice and take it up with Robin and see what her plans are there and see whether we can't move those forward.
Because there's that centre out there, and it's a lovely site.
Mm.
It's just a pity that, I'll say out there.
Yeah.
And horse racing is a big industry, and a lot of people.
Thank you, Councillor.
No further comment on that? Mel, Reece.
Maybe 3 or 4 meetings ago, I raised that our Tourism Information Centre did not appear on the New South Wales Service New South Wales rest areas thing. It might have even been 5 or 6 meetings ago. I did note that rest areas interactive map was shared on a Grey Nomads Facebook page again, so I took the liberty to check the map last week, and we still do not appear as there are actually no gazetted rest areas in Condobolin for service on the Service New South Wales interactive map. We appear on a national one, but that wasn't what is being linked. So can we follow up the previous follow-up as to why we're not on it and get us added, please?
Take a note of that. Good.
Noted. Thank you.
Any further comment? If not, all those in favour? Those against? Those carried. Now, we're missing 8.6 here, right? Looks like we're only looking for 8.7.
8.6 is on page 39.
Right, 8.6 and 8.7. Would someone like to move that, please? Councillor Harrison, Councillor Rees, all those in favour, that is carried. Now, 8.8, who was 8.8? Dennis, would you like to move that?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
That's Councillor Brady, seconder, Councillor Watermark. Right. There you go, Dennis.
Okay, it's just that it's to do with Bircher and its lack of water now, and Is it now appropriate that the dam can be cleaned and desilted, or if it hasn't got that way yet? And if it is, can it be desilted and can it be made larger so we don't have this problem when we get a bit of a dry spell, virtually runs out of water?
Adrian, you want to comment?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. It is on our radar to desilt it, certainly. It's not yet dry enough to be able to do that. So we're certainly on our radar, though. Making it larger is a bit more difficult. We'd need a few approvals from Crown Lands in order to do that. So that is not on our radar yet.
It's something because, you know, it's only a couple of years ago that they ran out of water again, you know. So it's not the fact that it's they need water, and same as Fifield, you know. Fifield is running out of water as well. So it's just, if we can, there should be a way of enlarging it, if possible. If I got a bit of information, I'll do information on it.
I think it is on your radar, Adrian, isn't it?
We haven't yet planned, or we haven't got it in our budget as of yet to do any expansion. Storage capacity is one thing. Catchment diverted to the dam is another as well.
Yeah,
so the two are interlinked,
Yeah.
and usage patterns within the town as well. I mean, the security of a water supply is all interlinked with those factors. A bigger dam will not solve the problem.
No, it's all got to go together. You got to all put it in as one package. Yeah, that's right.
Right, any
But-
further
yes,
questions? Peter, Councillor Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the Director of Infrastructure, I noticed the new chlorine system building was delivered at the Condo Water Treatment Plant just recently or last month. I was just wondering how the maternal cousin fluorine is going, fluoride, as is. Where are we up to with fluoridation of not only Condobolin but Lake Angelico and the current status? Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Adrian.
I'll have to take that one on notice, Mr. Mayor, to get an accurate report back on that one, or a response. I can provide that via email if you wish.
Happy with that, Councillor Harris?
Very happy, thank you.
Good. Right. Any further questions on 8.8? If not, all those in favour? Those against? It's carried. Righto, now 8.9. Would someone like to move that? I think that was Megan. Yep, second up. Councillor Blewett. Right.
I was just bringing up Lansdale Road. It's great to see that it's been resheeted and will be accessible again. But I'm just wondering if we can identify, and now at the beginning of the year we take this opportunity to identify the busiest unsealed roads, especially during harvest, and work on them before harvest starts, so we can get the trucks through without detours and flat tyres. Not every unsealed road, obviously, but the major ones, like Lansdale Road, had a lot of traffic and they had to do a major detour and they were busting tyres a lot. So I'm just wondering if we can identify some of the busy roads. I'm sure at Lake there's busy unsealed roads, and Tully, all around the Shire. And it's the one time of year that the farmers really need those roads to work for them. They're on time schedules, they're tired, there's a lot of traffic, and I feel that we owe that to the ratepayers.
All right. You want to comment, Adrian?
We can certainly look at that, Mr. Mayor. Within our existing budget constraints, we can look to prioritise the roads before harvest. Yep.
All righty. Any further questions on 8.9? Okay, Councillor Blewett. Reason, sorry. Thank God I said that.
I'll raise it in 8.9 because it is roads, but it's not in an upcoming work. We obviously use a Centra with our regional asphalt contractor. We go into thing with that. The Melrose Road that was just recently resheeted, I suppose, not gravel resheeted, retard, it's failing. So there is holes in it, the edges of the road, like north of town. It reminds me of what it was like when the Fifield Road failed. Oh, how long ago was that? 6 or 7 years ago, and it was a contract error with the size of the blue metal that was going in with the hot seal. And it has been raised by a number of ratepayers that we're doing a great job fixing these roads, but within 2 months they are breaking up, they are melting, they are getting holes, the sides are falling off them in terms of whether it's forming, but it has been raised around the north of town on the Melrose Road and the state that is, because it's only a couple of months old. Is that an issue that's happening across the region with the supplier? Is it purely to do with the weather? Are we now responsible to fix that, or can it be a warranty claim? Just a generalised question.
I might just ask the engineer. Adrian.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That specific example, it is nothing to do with Centroc or the JO. That is a contract engagement between council and a civil works supplier. They also sealed the works after they stabilised the shoulders. It was certainly noted that that started falling apart and getting some defects as soon as the seal was put down. The repair seal they did also failed as soon as harvest traffic started to go over it. We are in negotiations with them to fix it under warranty claim, and those discussions are ongoing. I'm mindful that the longer those discussions continue, the worse it's going to get. So we're looking to do that as soon as we can to get some kind of a fix on that, and then the ultimate end goal is a full width seal and then line mark. Long answer to the question, but yeah, we don't have a solution yet, but we are working it out with the contractor. Yes.
I will pass that on, they will be covered in. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. All right, no further questions on 8.9? Oh, sorry, Councillor Brady.
I'm just going to follow on from what Councillor Rees just said. It seems to be when we are resurfacing tar roads, and that it doesn't last any time at all before it starts breaking up. Does that mean that the quality of the tar that they're using is not as good as what they used to use? Because there are tar roads around here that have been 50, 60 years and have still got the original tar on them. They haven't broken up completely. And yet we have new roads going down, and for some odd reason, within 3 to 6 months, there's potholes everywhere. So is it the quality of the tar? Or it can't always be the quality of the workmanship. There's got to be some other reason for it. Can you elaborate on that?
I'll see what... I'll ask Adrian to answer your question.
Big question, Mr. Mayor, and there's multiple factors on why roads fail. The quality of the tar is one, but the tar provided is within specifications. Whenever a new seal goes down, it's always more susceptible to failures as soon as it goes down. McDonald Street near the IGA there is a prime example. It went down, and within a week a truck turned too sharply on it, and you can still see the damage that occurred there. Traffic now is very different to what was around in the 70s and 80s. So these roads that went down 50 years ago, they have not needed to handle the same traffic as the roads that are built today. Roads are a lot different now, and the freight volumes going along those are a lot different. So there's many factors as to why a road fails and why it doesn't fail. I'm not sure that bitumen is the sole blame of the failures. Happy to talk about specific roads and specific examples if you wish, though, Councillor. Thanks.
Over the countryside, you see it. The road is rebuilt, fixed up, and a month later you're going along and it's all
happy to talk about specific roads,
and
specific examples if you wish.
Maybe sit there and wait for the lights to turn green.
All right, I think
Over the countryside, you
made
see
your
it.
point. Thank you, Councillor Brady. And
road is
everybody
rebuilt,
agrees. All right,
fixed up.
all those in favour of that
and,
8.9?
A month later, you're going along, and it's all back
Those
into
against?
really as bad as it
Carried.
was before they.
All right,
They just sit there and
page
wait for the lights to
60,
turn green.
decision reports. Moving on to page
Right,
61.
you made your
First one
point
was the
there,
General
Councillor
Manager
Brady.
and
Community
donation event support.
agrees.
All
Would
right,
someone like to move
all
the
those in favour of that 8.9?
Councillor Brady and Councillor Turner.
Those against? It's carried. All right.
All
right, page
the recommendation
60,
there,
decision
Sir.
reports. Moving on
speak on
to
it?
page 61. First one was the General Manager.
Agree with the recommendation, or
Community
what?
donation event support.
I'd like to speak.
Would someone like to move the
Start it off.
recommendation, Councillor Brady?
Councillor Brady and Councillor
Look,
Turner.
this young girl is what she's been
All right.
wanting to do and trying to do.
You got the
And since
recommendation
she
there.
had
Had
Someone like
a
to
good
speak on
go at doing it, and I didn't even know. I read this report that it even
Agree with the
happened.
recommendation, or
So,
what?
that just shows you
You'd like to
how much
start it off,
publicity
Councillor Brady?
I didn't see about it.
Look, this young girl is what
And
she's
I
been
just think that
wanting
anybody
to do
who's
and trying to,
and since
get
she had
themselves
and has got
had
the talent,
a good go at doing
we
it.
should. We
We
do
do
it
it
for
for
people who are sporting. So, who are good
that
sports
just shows
people.
you
So there's no
how much
reason
publicity
somebody who wants to be
I didn't
a
see
good
about
singer,
it.
entertainer, who should not be also.
And I just think that anybody who's trying to get themselves
and
who
has
has
got the talent works here at the council.
we
That's
should.
not a reason
We
that
do
we
it for
shouldn't
people in sporting.
support it. So
who are
we
good sports people.
give
so
back
there's no
the money
reason
to
that somebody who
wants
wants to be
a good singer, entertainer, that we should not be also
Right,
helping
further-
and sponsoring her.
You certainly can.
And
Councillor.
I just because her
So my
her,
question is,
mother
did
works here
Kiara
at the
make any
council,
money out of
that's
the
not a
actual
reason that
concert?
we shouldn't still support it. So I move that we
Ask the GM, I think
give
he might
back
have
the
the
money
answer.
that it was going to, or reimburse.
Right, further. You certainly can, Councillor.
So my question is, did
There was
Kiara
certainly a
make
cover
any
charge,
money out of the actual concert?
and while she might have made money on the night,
GM, I think
I
he
don't
might
know
have
whether
the
it would have gone anywhere near covering her trips to Sydney that she's had to, that her family have had to run. There was certainly a cover charge, and to continue her education. While she might have made money on the night singing program, I don't know whether it would have gone anywhere near covering. But I can take it on notice and get back to council that she's had to.
Could
I that her family have had to
speak to
run to. Sorry, Karen.
Yeah,
To
I don't have
continue
any
her education in this
knowledge
advanced
about whether she made money or
singing
not
program.
on it. As you know,
But I can take it on notice
her mother is a
and
member
get
of
back
my
to
staff.
council on that.
But what I can say is that part of the program
Just-
were
could I,
required to
speak
to
to-
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Karen.
it was to make to I don't have any dedication and that you are committed to on it. If you were to take this on as a long-term career, that you'd be committed to the process. So it was a requirement. What I can say is that part of the program they were required.
Thanks for that, Karen.
To
Did
do a
that
charge.
answer your question?
It was to meant to
Yes,
be like to show
also, just for
dedication,
clarification, they're only
and that
asking
you
for
are
the
committed
reimbursement of the
to,
hall hire, is that
if you were
correct?
to take this on as a
Not,
long-term
the gentleman
career,
who
that you'd
just
be committed
mentioned
to the
other
process.
expenses,
So
I just wanted to
it was a
clarify that we're
requirement that you
only,
did have a charge.
yeah, we're only going to be reimbursing
Thanks
for
for
the
that,
hall
Karen.
hire if we agree to
Did
that.
that answer your question?
And also,
yes,
to whomever
also,
this
just for
might
clarification,
go to, they're only asking for the
this actually
reimbursement of the
fits the
hall
policy
hire, is that
criteria,
correct?
correct?
Not
Yes.
like
No.
it's well
the
within the
gentleman
bounds.
just mentioned
Absolutely.
other expenses. I just wanted to clarify that
Right,
we're only.
any other further questions on this?
Yeah, we're only going to be reimbursing
Not-
for the hall
yeah.
hire if we
All those
agree
in
to
favour?
that. And
Those against, that we
also, to
reimburse her
whomever
with
this
the
might go to,
$770. Right?
this actually fits the policy criteria,
against,
correct?
yes.
Like
Yes.
it's well
Carried.
within the bounds.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes,
Right, moving along to... Right, any other further questions on this?
65.
All those in favour? Those against, that we reimburse her with the
Righto,
$770.
9.1.2, draft code of meeting practice.
Those against,
that is
sorry?
carried.
Oh, you're moving it. Thank you very much, councillor. That's
Right,
second-
moving along to
No, right. And at the second, councillor.
65.
Councillor Rees. All right. Anyone like to make any comment on the
Righto,
code of conduct?
9.1.2, draft code of
there's still
meeting
a
practice.
lot up in the air. Sorry? Oh, you're moving it. Thank you very much, councillor. That's second. So you can
Right.
notice that everything in red
Second,
is in doubt.
councillor.
Councillor Rees.
It'll be out, I think
All
so.
right.
Yeah.
Anyone like to make any comment
further
on the
questions?
code of
Councillor
conduct?
Harris,
As
thank
you
you.
can see, that there's still a lot up in the
So you
air.
moved it.
I have one question, Mr Mayor. On the,
So you can notice that everything in red
what's
is
the
in
word
doubt.
for it, the remote
It'll be out. I
access
think
to the
so,
meetings,
Any further questions?
as in
Councillor
Zoom
Harris,
or
thank you.
what we're using now to log
Yeah. So you
in.
moved it.
Am I correct in seeing that on the current recommendations within the draft
what's the word for
are now
it? The
saying there's only a couple of
remote
reasons as to why you can
access
justify
to the
to
meetings,
be able to remote access?
as
One
in
is
Zoom or
health
what
issues,
we're
health
using now
reasons.
to
The
log
second
in.
one is maybe another. Am I correct in
COVID-19
seeing that
outbreak
the current
in
recommendations
the
within the
population.
draft, and from what I can
now
see,
saying
there's
they
only a
seem to be
couple
the
of
only
reasons
two-
as to why you can justify to be
The two justifications
able to
to be
remote
able to do
access.
it.
One is health issues,
And I
health
disagree
reasons.
vehemently with
The second
with that
one is
Yeah.
maybe
situation. But
another
I may be
COVID-19
overdoing it.
outbreak affecting
Ian,
the
you're right up to date with this
population.
one.
And from what I can
very
see,
good question,
they seem to be
Councillor.
the only two
There is conjecture within
justifications to be able to do it.
state government about
And I disagree vehemently
which should apply,
with,
but
with that.
certainly the current
situation.
standing
But
is this is a
I may be only
compulsory
just half right.
part of
Thank
the
you.
code of meeting
Ian, you're right up to date with
practice
this
that
one.
needs to flow through very from good the question, model code of meeting Councillor. practice. There is set out by the Office of Local Government. So this isn't state government about a part that is which should apply, but certainly the current council standing can actually choose not compulsory part of the code of meeting practice that needs to flow through from the model code of meeting practice, as have many other councils set out by the Office of Local Government. So this isn't a part that is
To me, the obvious
that council can actually
convenience
choose
of it
not
when
to
you-
or whatever.
when you-
But
whatever's happening in
happy
life, and working,
to
things like that.
happy
is-
to
that's-
take the
that's a given,
concerns
but
to the Office of
Also,
Local
the cost,
Government,
potential
as have
cost
many
saving to
other
council,
councils.
particularly say in our situation where we've got 6 out of 10 councillors who are living with, to me, the obvious convenience
Convenience
of
of
it
it
when
the,
you
the travel
when you-
costs backwards and
whatever's
forwards,
happening in life, in
not to
working,
mention
things like that
safety
issues
that's a given.
with
But
the meetings.
also the cost potential
So
cost
I don't know
saving
what
to
the
council,
council, probably not a
particularly
lot
say in our
over a 12-month
situation
period,
where
but
we've got 6
we're
out of
putting in trouble
10
claims
councillors who are
return
living from
outside
from Lake
Condobolin.
Angelico, so you've
Tullamore
got
area,
the travel costs backwards and forwards
towards Tullamore,
not to mention the safety
potentially with the mayor at Tottenham,
the meetings,
and now myself down at
Uavalon.
So I don't know what the dollar, probably not
there's
a
a
lot
cost
over
there.
a
There's an
12-month
increased
period,
cost,
but
and if you could
you're putting in
can
travel
log in
claims
and use the remote
return
service, well,
from Lake Angelico,
why not be
Tullamore
available?
area.
It seems to be another
towards
very,
Tullamore,
very, and I hate to use the
potentially
word
with the mayor at
short-sighted,
Tottenham,
and now myself
look
down
on
at
what they're
Uavalon.
doing in life now.
There's a cost there. There's an increased cost. And
trying
if
to
you
make
could-
life more
if you
difficult
log in
rather
and
than
use the
easier
remote
for us.
service. Well,
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I've had my little.
why not be available?
You feel better, Pete?
It seems to be another
I
very,
just,
very,
I
very.
think you'll
and I hate
find
to use
too
the word,
that
short-sighted
places like Burke,
look on what they're doing
you know,
in
Warren
life
and
now.
that sort of thing. Yeah, like they've
Trying to
brought up
make
their
life more
concerns
difficult
about,
rather than
especially if it's
easier
wet
for
weather.
us.
You can imagine some
Thanks,
of the
Mr.
roads
Mayor.
be
I've
like
had
up
my
and through
little
that area.
rant.
To be able to get
feel
in
better,
and that sort of
Pete.
thing. But if you wish to, I just I think you'll find too that places like Burke, you know, Warren and bring up that issue with like they've brought up their concerns about, especially
There's
if it's
going to
wet
be
weather.
a dramatic
Imagine some of
increase in the
roads
number
be
of
like up and through that
ill
area.
councillors.
Be able to get in and that sort of thing. But if you wish to put in right, any other further comment on that? On the further bring up that issue with Council Brady.
They're saying
There's going to
here
be
that
a
must be
dramatic
held
increase in the number
separately
of
prior to the
ill
meeting of the council.
councillors.
Yep.
Okay, so at present in our agenda we have the public forum.
Right. Any other further
after
comment on
the
that?
council's meeting has started.
That's what we. That's
Yeah,
what
well,
Council Brady.
it's saying here that it's got to be done before the meeting. Must be held separately prior to the meeting of the council. Is that the way it's going to be from now on in then? Okay, so at present in our agenda we have the public forum. Yeah, it's got to be recorded after the
it's got to be
council. It must be live streamed.
And also, it's got to be in the business paper. That's what you want.
Yeah, well, it's saying here that it's got to be done before the meeting.
It's got to be in the business paper. That's right.
So
We
that's-
just
is
still
that the way
start
it's
our
gonna be from
meeting
now
at
on in
2,
then?
or do we start it at like 10 to 2 for the actual meeting to start at 2?
Yeah, it's got to be recorded.
Yeah, it's
Or
got
we
to be
start
be
the
live
public
streamed.
forum
And
at 2
also,
and
it's
the
got to be
meeting
in the
starts
business
at
paper.
10 past 2.
What you want to be a public forum. Good question. I like that. Speak on it. It's got to be in the business paper.
We just still start
that.
our meeting at 2, or do we start it at like 10 to 2 for the actual meeting to start at 2?
Good question. I would
Or we
tend to stick
start
with the
public
gazetted
forum
start
at 2
time
and
of
the
the
meeting
meeting.
starts at 10 past 2.
And
That's a good question. I like that.
not that we have a lot of people that register to speak at the public forum, but if we had many people speak, then or choose to speak, then we could consider that. I would tend to stick with the gazetted start time of the meeting.
I think today was a good example, really.
Not that we have a lot of
we didn't start until
people that
after 2
register
o'clock.
to speak at the public
And,
forum,
I
but if
think,
we had
as Ian
many
said, we'll just do it
people
on a
speak
case-to-case
then,
basis.
or choose to speak,
So
then we
you
could consider that on a case-by-case basis.
All right. Well, I think
no further questions on that. It was a good example, really. Oh, sorry, about
No, you're
Admin
right.
Information Centre when we didn't start until
Just
after
in
2
relation to
o'clock.
Councillor Harris's
And,
comment,
nothing-
like
okay.
we can't do
As
anything
Ian said,
now.
we'll just do it on
Putting
case-to-case
it in
basis.
to say that there are other reasons, like
Yeah,
put
okay.
forth like an amendment. We just have to go with
All
this
right,
and,
well,
and speak
No further questions on that?
basically to who we need to speak to,
Oh,
and then
sorry,
they may
yeah.
change their mind.
you're
Is that
right.
how that goes? Just in relation to Councillor Harris's comment,
That's
like we can't do anything
essentially
now.
correct. It's
Yeah.
been
Putting it in
it's
to
been
say that there
debated
are other reasons, like put forth like an amendment. We just
at
have to go
government.
with
I
this
don't
and,
know whether
and,
there's
and
been a
speak
decision handed down yet, or whether there's
basically
been
to
a
who we
vote
need
on
to
it at
speak
this
to,
stage.
and then they may change their mind.
There
Is
was
that
an
how that
intent.
goes?
It was debated in December. There was an intention when they sat in That's February that they would essentially make a correct. decision.
Yeah.
It's been debated. We'll see whether they. At government, I don't know whether there's been a decision handed down yet, or whether there's been a vote on it. Certainly before March, I can put. There was an intention. It was debated in December. The Office of Local There was an intention when they sat in February that they would
And I
make
think
a
you'll
decision.
also find that
That didn't
CMA still
actually
bring it
occur.
up on
Whether
some
we'll see
basis.
whether they
That is
actually vote on it in
Alrighty.
March, but
No further
certainly
questions?
before March, I can put
If not,
put
all those in
council's
favour?
concerns in writing
Those
to the
against?
Office
That
of
is
Local Government,
carried.
as have many other councils.
The
I
changing
think
world,
you'll
eh?
also find that CMA is still bringing it up on the same
All right, now
basis.
9.2, corporate and community service application for community event support. Should someone like to move the
Alrighty.
recommendation?
No further
Councillor
questions?
Phillips, and secondly,
If not,
Councillor
all those in
Bartholomew.
favour?
Those
Uh,
against, that is carried. With the recommendation,
changing
any
world, eh?
questions or any discussion? All right, now 9.2, corporate and
the
community
Colour Blue
service
races
application for community event support.
as written,
Should
happy
someone like
with
to
that?
move the recommendation?
Righto.
Councillor
All
Phillips,
those in
and
favour
secondly,
then?
Councillor
Those against?
Bartholomew. That is carried. Any
Now
the
we'll go to
recommendation,
page
any
75,
questions or 9.2.2, draft code of conduct of the Tullabajula races, delegates and committees and et cetera,
As written,
Move
happy with that?
Councillor
Righto.
Harris,
All those
secondly
in favour
Councillor
then?
Phillips, I think it was.
Those against?
That is carried. Any questions on that? Now we'll go to page 75, 9.2.2, draft code of conduct.
We're all sound happy with nothing
delegates and committees
coming
and
out of
et
that?
cetera, et cetera. Move Councillor
If not, we don't want it to
Harris,
be right.
secondly Councillor
Happy with
Phillips,
it?
I think it was.
All those in favour?
Right, any questions on that? Those against? Is carried. Now page 78, disclosures of interest, tabling of forms for the year ending the
We all
30th
seem
of
happy with
June.
nothing
Councillor
out of
Harris, secondly Councillor. If
Was it?
not,
You're
Alrighty.
right. Right, we're happy with it?
All those in
The tabling
favour?
of
Those, which is done every 12 months.
Those
Is there
against?
Any questions? Is carried.
If not, all those in
Now
favour?
page 78, disclosures
against?
of
That
interest,
is carried.
tabling of forms
Page
for the
80,
year ending the 30th of June. 2.4, quarterly budget review.
Councillor Harris,
Two,
secondly
revotes
Councillor
number 2 from
was it?
2026. The tabling of
Councillor
those,
Harris,
which
we
is
can
done
move
every
in the
12 months. Is
recommendation,
there any
and
questions?
seconded was Councillor.
If not,
All those in
Councillor
favour?
Mortimer. Those against,
Right,
that is carried.
I think there might be more
Page
information
80,
there.
9.2.4,
more
quarterly
information to go
budget
with this one,
review,
Karen?
2, revotes number 2 from 2026.
Does that go with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Councillor Harris,
So you got the
we can
revotes
move in
there
recommendation,
included.
and seconder was Councillor.
So any questions?
Councillor Mortimer.
I'm happy to give a summary if
Yeah,
you'd like
yeah,
us
more
to.
information
I think it'd be a
there.
nice idea, thank
Is
you,
there
Karen. More information to go with this
Thank you
one,
very
Karen.
much. Way you go.
Yeah, thank you, through the Mayor.
Yes.
So,
Let
councillors,
go
I'd
with
just
that.
like to
Yes.
say,
Yeah.
it's a
All right.
little bit of a mixed
So you got the
bag this
revotes there
time.
included.
Overall, council's financial position
So
is still
any
strong.
questions?
I do expect that.
I'm happy to give a
we'll
summary if you'd
currently
like,
be
Mr.
having
Mayor.
quite
I
a
think
large
nice idea, thank you,
operating
Karen.
profit as such.
Thank you very much.
However,
Way you
that's
go.
predominantly because
Yeah,
all our
thank you,
rates
through
and
the Mayor.
charges,
So,
general
councillors, I'd
rates
just
as
like to
such
say,
are
it's a little bit of a
issued
mixed
upfront.
bag this time.
So
Overall,
it's not
council's
like
financial
that we're
position
in
is
a
still
larger
strong.
profit position.
I do expect that
at this time of the
we'll
year, so
currently we have
happy
quite
with
a
the results
large
at the moment. I do expect to see
profit
that
as such.
However, that's predominantly because all our rates come down a bit as the year progresses. But currently, most things are running on track. So which is really good news. There's also a couple of grants that the council's been successful with the results of you may have previously seen them in the reports. There's a $3.3 million grant as the year progresses, but upgrade and repair most things are running on track, which is really good news. There's also two. We'll see that in the report. It's a little bit confusing. There's actually broken into two parts. You may have previously seen them in capital reports. There's a new pond and some that's repairs. so that needs to go into the operational section. So upgrade and that's probably why that you at the Lake Jelly one spot. But I have tried to make that clear plant, which is great. You'll see that in the report it's a little bit confusing. There's actually broken into 2 parts grant to do some work. Some of it's a capital component, upgrade the Lake Ponds, and some that's repairs. So that needs to go into the operational section. So pretty hard to get. That's probably why that you see it in more one spot.
I suppose a little bit on the downside.
Other than that, trading, we've also been successful South Street Energy, green trading and things like that. The spot price to upgrade the Lake considerably, about 90%, really good news. So we are pretty hard to get, so they've done well with the expected income. I suppose a little bit on the downside, our renewables trading and things like that.
Questions?
South Street Energy, green trading and things like that.
You're not
The spot
quite on yet.
price
You're
has
waiting for
decreased
Terry.
considerably, about 90%. So we are
I just
doing
noted in
adjustments
the
down which for the
update
expected income
proposed
then,
adjustments, there was
But
an
other than that,
additional
overall, good result.
$2,900 for the youth services for,
Questions?
just says social plan. Are you able to provide
You're not quite on
some
yet. We're waiting
further
for Terry.
information around that, as we obviously already fund youth services
I just noted
significantly?
in the update proposed adjustments, there was an
Through
additional
the Mayor, thanks, Councillor Rees.
$2,900
Yeah, no, that's
for the youth
actually a budget
services
adjustment.
for-
So when
just says
council
social
does
plan.
its
Are you
budget
able to
every year, we
provide
do
some
provide for
further information
costs
around
such
that,
as
we
the, running of
obviously already
the Hay
fund
Street
youth
Youth Centre,
services
as well as
significantly?
what you've mentioned, which is our funding that we give to our youth services provider.
through the Mayor, thanks,
Lachlan Western Regional
Councillor Rees.
Services.
Yeah,
And
no,
we
that's
also have some
actually
other small
a
costs
budget
around that to do
adjustment.
with
So
the
when
week
council
grant.
does its budget every
And
year,
also
we do
we do put money
provide
aside
for
to renew
costs
our
such as
strategic
the
plan.
running of the
So
Hay
that's
Street
just
Youth
a little
Centre, as well
allocation
as
to
what
start
you've mentioned, which is
funds
our
aside
funding
from
that we
that,
give
because
to
that
our
will be
youth
due
services
within that
provider,
delivery program.
Lachlan
So that's
Western
actually
Regional
staying internal
Services.
to
And we
council.
also have some other small
Right
costs
now,
around
that
that
is
to do
going
with
to be paid to
week
Lachlan
grant.
Western Regional Services. And also we do put money aside to
question, Councillor
renew
Rees?
our youth strategic plan.
Any further
So that's
questions
just
to
an little
Karen or
allocation
to the
just
report?
to start putting some funds aside from that, because that will be due within that delivery program. So
So
that's
it's
actually
still-
staying internal to council.
Want to pick it?
Right now, it isn't going to be paid to Lachlan Western Regional Services.
Answer your question,
Now, if
Councillor
anyone
Rees.
would like to contact me after the meeting or
Any
something,
further
I'm more
questions
than happy
to
to take
Karen or to the
calls or
report?
emails if anyone would like any further explanation. They need a little bit more time to review it.
That's very good, thanks, Karen. I think that'll want to pick it. Councillor Whiten's got a question.
Now, if anyone would like to
I shall.
contact me after the meeting or something,
Good on
I'm more than happy to take
we haven't
calls
got
or
names yet.
emails.
It's okay,
if
it's
anyone
okay.
would like any further
I'm just wondering, do we
explanation.
get any,
That's very good, thanks,
do we
Karen.
charge any
I think that'll,
fees to
Councillor
the
Whiten's got a question.
RAF guys that come in and use the street?
Like Jellicoe. We've got
Sorry,
names.
no
yet.
words in my head. It's okay. I'm just wondering, do we
Yeah,
get
thanks-
any?
thanks through the man,
Is it
Councillor
significant?
Coleman.
Do we charge any fees
It's not
to
significant,
the
no, but yes, we do. The
RAF
get paid. They actually
guys
tell
that
us
come
how
in
much
and
they're going
use
to pay,
the
and they provide
street?
us with a
Like
list
Jellicoe.
of
Yeah,
basically how
sorry,
many
no words
what
in
they
my
call
head.
touch and goes they do during the year.
Yeah,
It's
thanks-
not a large
thanks through
sum of
the
money,
Is it significant?
but it is something.
Yeah.
It's not significant, no, but
That
yes,
answer
we
your question,
do.
Councillor
We
Coleman?
do get paid. They actually
Oh,
tell
sorry,
us how much
Councillor.
they're going to pay, and they provide us with.
Could you
a
press the
list
button,
of
please?
Basically,
Yeah,
how many
put yourself
what
on,
they call
mate.
touch and goes they do during the
Terry
year. It's not
And
a
when
large
they
sum of
stop
money,
and reverse,
but it is
that we
something
get
to
more
do.
money for that. Touch and goes one sum,
That answer your question,
and actually
Councillor
stop that
Coleman?
plane and stop and reverse back in, there's more money for that.
Sorry, Councillor.
Or was, it used to be.
Could you press the
I
button,
don't
please?
use me.
Yeah, but put yourself on, mate. Terry Fixture.
Can't hear me, John. And when they
Can you
stop
did you
and
hear
reverse,
Councillor Phillips?
that we get
Karen?
more money for that. Touch and
Yes,
goes
thank
one
you, Mr.
sum,
Mayor, I did.
and actually stop
I
that
haven't
plane
seen
and
a
stop and reverse back in, there's more money for
distinction
that.
Now that's
Or was,
in my
it
time for
used to
council.
be.
It's not to say that it doesn't happen. I haven't
I
seen
don't
on
use
any
them.
reports that come in, but it may be that they don't.
Can't
They
hear
do
me, Johnny.
little of that.
Can
maybe
you
they
hear?
do
Did you
just
hear?
more of the touch
Councillor
and goes,
Phillips?
So
Karen?
yeah, they basically.
Yes,
say
thank
what
you,
they
Mr. Mayor,
want
I
to
did.
pay, and they
I
tell
haven't
us
seen
how
a
many times
distinguishing
they've
between
done the
that.
touch and goes.
Now that's
There may
in
well
my
be
time for
a
council, it's
larger
not to say
fee
that it
for,
doesn't happen. I haven't seen it on
any
proper
reports
landing,
that come in, but it
but,
may
I
be
haven't
that they
seen any
don't.
of that
Since I've been do little of that, maybe they do
You're quite
just
correct,
more
they
of
do
the
do more
goes.
touch and
So,
goes, but
yeah, they
occasionally they
basically
do stop and
say
reverse
what they're
back in.
prepared to pay, and
Mr.
they tell
Mayor.
us how many
Thank you,
times
Councillor Phillips,
they've
for that.
done the touch and goes. So there
Chair
may
Wright,
well
any
be
further
a
questions on,
larger fee for
on the
a proper
financial
landing,
report?
but I haven't seen any of that since I've been here.
Not all those in
You're
favour?
quite correct, they do do more touch
Those
and goes,
against?
but occasionally occasionally they
carried.
do stop and reverse back in.
Now, moving along to
Thank you, Councillor
page
Phillips,
82, 9.2.5. Right, any
WHS
further questions
policy
on
review, someone a recommendation,
on the
please?
Councillor
Financial
Rees,
report.
seconded Councillor Bartholomew.
And if not, all those in
Any
favour?
questions?
Those against?
This is
Carried.
an updated policy.
Now, moving along to page
questions?
82, 9.25. All those in favour? Yes, a policy review, someone a recommendation, please?
Fellow Work Health and
Rees,
Safety,
seconded Councillor Bartholomew.
Not. Yep.
Any questions?
I said there, when you've got it
This
coming
is,
through, you
an
mentioned
updated
volunteers.
Policy.
No great
questions?
point, but how does that work? So if you've got volunteers out at a
All those in
said
favour?
site on Saturday, Sunday,
sorry.
does one have to
Fellow
notify
Work Health and Safety,
council that there's a working bee on? Or
Not.
Yep. Or somebody
Just,
hurts themselves on that
I
said
said there,
working
when
bee? How do we
you've got it coming
do we
through,
have to
you
apply
mentioned
through council to have
volunteers.
that working bee? Just a quick question.
Great
that was
point,
all.
but
But how
Ask
does
the
that
general
work?
manager, I think
So
he
if
was
you've got
the-
volunteers
he can
out at
answer
a
this
said site on Saturday, Sunday,
It's not
does
for
one have to
all
notify council
volunteers,
that there's a working bee
but
on?
if there
or
was a working bee on council
somebody
property,
hurts himself on that said
then
working
yeah, we
bee,
should
how
be
do
notified.
or do we have to apply through council to have that working bee? Just a quick question, that was all.
Right, I'll ask the general manager. I think he's eager to answer this one.
It's not for
their
all
activities wouldn't be automatically
volunteers,
covered if they're doing
but
a
if there was a working bee on
or
council
doing
property,
something
then
yeah, we
which
should be
isn't
notified.
necessarily in an annual plan that they would normally run, then we should be notified. Thank you.
Right, any further questions on that?
Their activities wouldn't be automatically
favour?
covered if they're doing a working
Those
bee
against?
or doing
Carried.
something
Right,
that isn't
here's
necessarily in
one
an
for
annual
everyone.
plan that
Page
they would normally
84,
run, then we should be
9.2.6
notified.
non-smoking policy.
Thank you.
Councillor Brady. Right, any further questions
Where's
on
the
that?
non-smokers? If not,
Councillor Mortimer. All those in favour? Councillor Mortimer. Those against?
Yeah.
Carried.
Well, we used to.
Right, here's one for everyone. Page 84,
You used to.
9.2.6 non-smoking
So
smoking
any
policy.
comments on this policy?
Good. All happy with it, right? All those in
Councillor
favour?
Brady.
Those against?
Where's the non-smokers?
That is
Councillor
carried.
Mortimer. Councillor
9.3
Mortimer.
on page 86,
Yeah.
environmental
Well,
and
we
planning.
used
Bircher transfer station location.
We
Would
used
someone
to.
like to move the recommendation?
So no, any comment on
Councillor
the
Brady,
on this policy?
Turner. All happy with it, right? All those in favour? Those against?
So I think
carried.
the
9.3 on page 86.
I think the community has
environmental
spoken.
and planning.
Is
Bircher
that,
transfer
so
station
no comment from the-
location.
the
Would someone
Bircher
like to
mob?
move the recommendation? Councillor Brady and Councillor Turner.
All right. Any? Is there any? If there's no further
So I think
questions
on that, all those in favour?
I think the
Those
community
against?
has spoken.
It's carried.
Is that
Right,
so?
now
No
we
comment
move
from
on
the
to
infrastructure
Bircher
mob.
Services on page 90, which is 9.4. Removal of loading zone from
All right,
Donald
any,
Street. Moves Councillor
any-
Harris.
if there's no
Councillor
further
Brady.
questions on that,
Any questions? All those in
I don't think
favour?
it
Looks like, and Councillor Harris would like
Those
to
against?
make a comment. That is carried.
Had a question.
Over the
Donald
loading
Street,
zone going, but
moves
I'd actually
Councillor
like
Harris,
to see the
Councillor
loading
Brady.
zone replaced with the disabled
Any
zone.
questions? I don't think it looks like, and Councillor
The
Harris would
current
like to
disabled
make
zone that
comment.
is there is
Had a
probably
question.
as far as it can
That's
be
okay.
away from the front door,
I'll get you next.
as you
Thank
could
you,
make it
Councillor
on
Rees.
that side of the road. This one where the
I'm-
loading
I'm
zone
full
is
favour of the
probably
loading zone going,
haven't
but I'd
measured
actually
it,
like
but
to
I
see
would
the
think
loading
it is
zone
replaced
marginally
with the
closer
disabled zone than the current disabled zone.
The
And I
current
think with the
disabled
aging
zone that is
population
there
being
is
included,
probably
as far as it can be
that
away
another
from the
lo-
front
another
door.
loading zone.
Another
As you could make it
disabled
on that
zone
side of the road
would not go astray.
This one where the
in
loading
that
zone
area,
is
but
probably,
that's only
I haven't
my-
measured it, but I would think it is
obviously my opinion.
marginally
I'll
closer.
just get
But I think it should
than the
be
current
seriously
disabled
thought
zone,
about, and I
rather
think
than
with
making
our
it
ageing
into
population
general
being
parking.
included,
Right, I'll just get a comment from Adrian.
that
on
another
that. Thank you, Mr.
another
Ford.
loading zone, another disabled zone
Thanks, Mr.
would
Mayor.
not go astray.
If council wants
in
to
that area,
reject the
but
recommendation
that's
and
only my-
put forward an alternate motion,
obviously
then
my
that's
opinion,
council's.
so-
I'll just get
But
a,
I think it should be seriously
that's
thought
up to
about
you.
rather than making it
Yeah.
into general parking.
right, I'll just get a comment from Adrian on that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And that we ask that to be
Thanks, Mr.
instead of
Mayor.
just
If
taking
council
away.
wants to reject
think,
the
I
recommendation
just
and
wonder
put
whether
forward
Adrian
an
maybe
alternate
another
motion,
report
then
needs
that's
to come back to
council's.
council.
That's up to you. So there's been changes to the traffic committee. It no longer exists. It is now traffic forum, and I tried to
And that
explain
we
in this
ask
report that
that
a lot
to
more
be
power has been
instead of
delegated
just
to council
taken
to
away.
undertake our own
I think I just
decisions.
wonder whether Adrian maybe another report needs to come back
And
to
so
council.
traffic committee does not necessarily traffic forum. So there's been changes to the traffic committee. It no longer exists. In all traffic-related it is now traffic forum decisions of council. I tried to explain in this report that a lot more power has been delegated to council to undertake our own decisions.
Before we move into that?
And so traffic committee does not necessarily. Traffic forum does not necessarily need to be involved.
I note the reasoning was because Shaman's obviously have rear access now in for all their loading. My question then sits around the loading zone that sits near the drive-through. Mine, Imperial and whatnot, because every single shop along the main street also has. I note the reasoning was because Shaman's obviously have rear premium now in some of our delivery drivers still don't use that loading zone that sits around the loading zone in the main street. If we are looking at loading zones, Imperial and whatnot, because every single shop along remove that loading zone and replace it with other car parks, rear access, if we're going to put a disabled car park. Parking can be a premium there, where this and some of our delivery drivers still don't use that loading zone. Some days now with the opening of new businesses in the main street, if we are looking at the loading zones, can't get a park. Are we able to potentially remove that loading zone and replace it with other car parks, particularly if we're going to put a disabled car park? Where this one is. It's just me thinking there is legitimately some days now with the opening of new businesses in the main street, which is great, you legitimately can't get a park.
I think we just got to be careful. We're happy with dealing with this report, this one, and we bring back a decision for us to look at it for McDonald Street and what you're talking about, the loading zones in the main street.
Maybe bring back a new
Councillor.
So if we make the one in front of the Imperial Hotel just parking, where's the next loading zone for the trucks to use? If we take that one away.
I thought they got rear street. I thought what you're talking rear access, the loading zones in the main street. Is that right, Councillor?
So if we make the one in front of the Imperial Hotel assume that parking, loading where's the zone there was for like the bigger trucks that bring stuff into condo for the businesses in the main street. So if we take that away, they're going to have to go to each individual business. Is that correct?
I think that's why we're going to bring back a
report. I'd recommend.
Assume that
I'd recommend deferring and actually consulting with some of the businesses before we make a decision on this.
For the businesses in the main street. So if we take that away, they're going to have to go to each individual business. Is that correct?
I think that's why we're going to bring back a report. Are you happy to defer this report and get a further report on the...
I'd recommend deferring and actually consulting with some of the businesses before we make a decision on this.
Yeah, I am, Mr Mayor, but just with use my right of reply. I just want to congratulate who or whoever that has actually made a change to the traffic committee now becoming the traffic forum.
What's happening in the main street?
Because over the years I have noticed, I am, Mr Mayor, but just numerous occasions, use my right of reply, when we had transport issues, traffic issues around our shire, I just want to congratulate who or whoever that has actually made a change to the... was forwarded off to the traffic committee now becoming the traffic forum. Sometimes they met, because over the years I have noticed on numerous occasions RMS there when we had transport issues, traffic issues then deferred another quarter before a decision came back. So sometimes in many instances we'd finally decisions forwarded off to the traffic committee. The traffic committee met quarterly. Congratulations, whoever sometimes they met, or sometimes they didn't have a quorum. It is now in the hands of the correct people, so therefore couldn't make a local people then deferred another quarter to make these decision came back. So sometimes in many instances, and hopefully finally decision speedy resolution to some of these problems that are affecting. Finally, congratulations to whoever it is on a day-to-day basis. It is now in the hands of the correct people period of time. The local people, those on the ground, council, us.
All right. So now we've got the recommendation that we
in a rational light
report
and
back,
hopefully have a speedy resolution to some of these problems that are
Street and also
us poor citizens on a day-to-day basis, rather than put out into the ether
for contact
a long
council's
period of
consideration.
time.
Is that the way?
So
you happy with that?
you.
Councillor Harris and who was the second? So now we've got the recommendation that Councillor Brady, you happy with that? We bring a report back. All those in favour? Next council meeting on the McDonald Street and also the issues in Bathurst Street with relating to correspondence for contact council's consideration. Deputation. That's the way. I don't think we've
Happy
got a
with that?
deputation here
Councillor
today.
Harris, and who was the seconder?
Moving along.
Councillor Brady.
Righto,
you happy with
now
that?
the notices of motions on page
All those in favour?
94. A notice of
Those
motion
against? That is
annual bulk
carried.
rubbish removal
Very
program.
good.
We do have
Let's go to
Councillor Coleman
correspondence.
has brought this notice of
No,
motion
deputations.
forward. Would you like to move
Don't
that
think we've got a deputation
recommendation
here today.
Yep. Seconder. Moving along. Councillor
Righto, now the
Waterman.
notices of motions
Righto.
on page
Looks like
94.
someone's going to come up with a question
Notice of
straight away.
motion and bulk
sorry.
rubbish removal
I've just
program.
bypassed you. Simple as
We
that.
do have Councillor Coleman has
Right.
brought this notice
Would
of
you
motion
like to say
forward.
something
Would
towards
you
it,
like
please,
to move
Councillor
that
Coleman?
recommendation?
Oh, I think it says
Yep.
everything in there, but
Seconder.
I'd just like to say,
Councillor
I think
Waterman.
we're probably one of the
Righto.
only
Looks
shires
like someone's
in
gonna
the
come up
area
with a
that
question
don't
straight
do
away.
something like this, and I think
Oh, sorry.
we owe it to
I'll
our
just
community
bypass you.
to
Simple as that.
look into it, get a report, see what it's going to cost,
Would you
see what
like
our
to say
options
something
are.
towards it, please, Councillor Coleman?
Oh, I think it
spoken to
says
a few
everything in
people.
there, but I'd just like
You
to
might have
say,
seen my Facebook page.
I think
there was
we're
some comments on
probably
there,
one of the only
about it,
shires
and
in the area
I spoke
that
to
don't do
others
something
and
like this, and I think
we'd like to see
we
something
owe it to
like
our
this.
community to.
Some others said
Look into
maybe
it,
twice
get
a
a
year,
report,
but I didn't want to
see
push
what
it.
it's going to cost,
Annual's
see what our
probably
options
enough.
are. You know, if it maybe only
I've
starts at
spoken
one
to a few
village,
people,
one town.
you might have seen
all
my
over.
Facebook page of
I'm
there
open
was
to
some
it.
comments
I'd
on
just
there,
be interested to see what
about
comes
it
back
and
in a report.
I spoke to others and would like to see something like this.
Right. Any
Some
further
others
questions?
said maybe twice
Councillor
a year, but I
Reid?
didn't want to
wait
push
a
it.
minute. Before we go any
Annual's
further,
probably
before we
enough.
answer, it might be Patrick. I think
You know,
Patrick
if
might
it maybe
have
only starts at
Just
one
a very
village,
quick
one
comment, very
town,
happy to
or all
put
over.
up,
I'm
prepare
open
a
to it.
report.
I'd just be interested to see what
But just a
comes back
reminder
in
that
a
there
report.
used to be a bulk pickup previously, and
Right.
then
Any
that
further
was discarded
questions?
in favour
Councillor
of having
Reid? Oh,
no
wait a minute.
waste fees for
Before we go
residents
any
at
further,
the
before you
various
answer, it might be
landfill and
Patrick. I
transfer
think Patrick might
stations.
have some-
Just a very quick comment, very happy to whether that then put up occurs a fee in prepare order a to pay report for that. So this is but not just a reminder that not there something used to be a bulk will be quite expensive pick up just to make you aware of previously. that. Thanks. And then that was discarded
Reid.
in favour of having no waste fees for residents at the various landfill and transfer stations. So that would have to be looked at.
My
whether
question
that then
touches
occurs a
on,
fee in order to pay for that. So this
Patrick's
is
comment.
not
I
something
can
that is
remember
cheap. So it will
when
be
we
quite
previously
expensive just
discussed
to
it
make you
and
aware of that.
we took
Thanks.
the option of the free tip
Councillor
over
Reid.
that. So during the investigations, can we at least be presented with multiple options that show the cost of keeping both?
My question touches
doing one or the
on,
other or something like that. Just so
Patrick's
we've got
comment,
all the
I
information
can
in front of
remember
us to make that
when we
decision. We previously discussed
That's
it
all.
and we took
Absolutely.
the option of the free
so
tip
we're happy to
over
bring a
that.
report
So
back to
during
see,
the
Councillor
investigations,
Harris,
can we
would you
at
like
least
to,
be presented with multiple
comment?
options that
Thank you,
show
Mr.
the
Mayor.
cost
No,
of
I'm in favour.
keeping
I know we've
both
had a
doing
few
one or
looks
the
at
other
this
or
in years
something
gone
like
by. I
that,
don't
just
know
so
how
we've
many,
got
but there's been
all the
quite a few
information in
times
front of
where
us to
this
make
has
that
come up
decision.
and we haven't gone ahead with
That's
it,
all.
and one of the
Absolutely.
probably the main reasons has
so
always
we're
been
happy to bring a
the
report back to
financial
see.
cost of the
Councillor
budget.
Harris,
and then
you'd
the
like to,
practicalities of delivering it.
make
My
comment?
only concern
Thank you,
with it
Mr.
would
Mayor.
be
No,
I'm in favour.
sure
I know
that
we've had we don't end up
a few
with
looks at
which
this
you
and
do
years
see a lot
gone
of
by, I
other
don't know
areas
how many,
around,
but
there's
there's
been
public
quite a few
footpath
times where this has come
dumping
up
ground.
and we haven't
From
gone ahead
people's
with it. And
leftover
one of the
goods that
probably
they don't
the main
particularly
reasons
want.
has always
Sometimes
been
they get
relocated to
cost
another good home, the budget, before they even get picked up.
And then
So
the
that's
practicalities
good. Of delivering
But
it. My only
sometimes they sit
concerns
there
with
for
it
many,
would
many
be
weeks
to
and
make
not
sure that
particularly-
we don't end up with
which you do see in a lot of other
pretty
areas
site.
around. You've got
So
a
we do
public
need to be
footpath
careful about
dumping ground.
how many
for
the
people's
quantity of
leftover
what people can
goods
put
that
out.
they don't
Obviously
particularly
the
want. Sometimes
type of goods that get relocated to another good home, and then before they even get picked up. So that's good. But sometimes they sit there for many, many weeks.
But otherwise,
not
generally,
particularly, I've always been supportive of such a thing.
a pretty
They've
site.
got a good. So
Have
we
a good
do
look
need
at
to
it
be
and then
careful
make a
about
decision based on
how many,
Thank you, Mr.
the
Mayor.
quantity of what
Thank you,
people can
Councillor
put out,
Harris.
obviously the type of goods that
Councillor
people can
Reid.
put out, and then look at obviously the financial.
Oh, sorry, Karen.
cost
Where did that
to-
voice
to
come from?
running the program. So, but otherwise, generally,
Hey, through the
I've
mayor,
always been
thank you.
supportive
If I
of
could could just encourage councillors
look at it and then
when
make
that
a
report
decision
comes
based on
that if we were
Thank
to
you,
look
Mr.
at doing something like
Councillor
that,
Harris,
whatever
so-
decisions we make
I think
do
right
become
over.
effective with the new budget year. It's just that we're quite well into
Oh, sorry,
the
Karen.
nearly like three
Where did that voice come
into our
from?
budget year, and this isn't something
Hey, through
that
the mayor,
has
thank you.
prepared
If I
for.
could just
and with, other
encourage
things,
councillors,
being as they are,
when that
some
report
drops in
comes,
revenues
that
and
if
things
we
like
were to
that.
look at
I
doing
think
something
overall
like that,
it's,
whatever decisions we make
whatever
do
decisions
become
made,
effective with
best
the new
for
budget
if we
year.
could delay
Just
it
that
to
we're
the new
quite
budget
well
year.
into the nearly like
All right,
three
thank you.
quarters of the way
I think
into
we're
our
going to
budget
bring a
year.
report back and
And this
quite
isn't
obviously
something
might
the
end up in
council
the
has
next financial year, but
prepared for. And with other things
some
being
people
as they
might, but
are,
anyway.
some drops in revenues
All right,
and
all
things
those in
like
favour?
that.
I think overall
As against,
it's
that is carried.
whatever
Right on.
decisions
Next
made, would be
notice
best to
motion,
complete if we
page
could delay
95,
it to
for
the new
notice of
budget
motion,
year.
return and earn facility for Condobolin.
I think we're going to bring a report back and
Anita
quite obviously
Coleman
might end up
again,
in
would you
the
like
next
to move
financial year,
that
but
notice of motion? Thank you. And Councillor Brady.
some people might, but anyway.
All right.
All right.
Would
All
you
those
like
in
to
favour?
start it off, please?
As against, that is carried.
I understand this would be very
Right on.
costly, of
Next
course.
notice
and this
motion,
one
page
cannot
95,
do
for notice
that.
of motion, return and earn facility for Condobolin.
But I just think it's something worth looking at a report to see what our options are.
Councillor Brady.
I'm very big
All
on
right.
change behaviour.
Would you like to start it off, please?
I'm very big on.
Anita?
I understand this would be very costly, of course, and this
us to Orange a lot of the time.
And I have spoken to a few people around town.
But
I just think it's something worth looking at a report
not happy
to see
with the
what
way
our
it's happening,
options
but
are.
knows it could be improved.
I'm very
I'm
big
not saying
on
obviously
change
this could
behaviour,
happen, but can we just look into it
I'm
just
very
to
big
see
on
what
the possibilities
we
are.
collect all of
because
our
we
bottles
were
and
told
cans and we take
previously
them with us
that
to Orange a lot of the
it
time.
depends on the population of the place.
And I have
depends
spoken
on
to a few
another
people around
business, all
town
of these
who
things, and I don't know. I've looked
aren't
up
not
stuff, but
happy
there's not
with
enough
the way it's
information
happening,
out there.
but knows it could be improved.
To you, Patrick.
I'm
another
saying
job.
obviously this could happen, but can we just look
Mayor,
into it?
thank
just
you
to
very
see
much.
What the possibilities
Now, look,
are?
the
Because
cost
we
is
were
the main
told
thing, and obviously the
previously
low
that
volumes that would be
depends
generated
on the
here are
population of
another
the
thing.
place.
So
It
that's
depends on another
it is
business.
that.
All of these things.
If you just look at
I don't
an
know.
example
I've
like in
looked up
parks, you need
stuff, but there's not
a
enough
business that needs to
information out
host it, like the Woolworths
To you,
does.
Patrick. For you, another job.
Council would simply have
Through
the
the Mayor,
costs with
thank you
that
very
because
much. That place needs
now,
to
look,
be
the
monitored and
cost is
tidied
the
up
main thing, and obviously the
fairly
low
frequently,
volumes
so
that would
there's
be
additional
generated
costs
here
there.
are another thing.
And you would
so
also have
that's-
to have
it
someone
is-
to
it's
put
that.
all the extra
If you just look at
capital
an
work
example like in
to
parks,
establish
you need
it, so
a business that
and
needs
the
to
ongoing
host it, like
maintenance
the
from the
Woolworths
technical
does.
side of things, where council would not be involved.
Council
in that.
would
So
simply
just
have
to costs with
make
that,
you aware of that,
because
but that
again
place
happy
needs
to
to
be monitored and tidied
explore
up
that and provide a
fairly
report.
frequently.
I'd be interested
so
to
there's
see if there
additional
were any
costs there,
businesses that would
and you
be
would also have to have
interested,
someone
and would
to
it
put
be
all
an
the
employment
extra
opportunity as well?
capital work into to establish
you know,
it.
could
So
create
it's and the ongoing
things.
maintenance from the technical side of
look,
things. Where
I'm
council
doing
would
the same.
not
I'm
be
driving
involved
over
in
to
that.
Orange
So
when I'm
just to make you aware of that.
bag
But
of things.
again,
and
happy
obviously
to
over there. There's a couple
explore
of
that
those
and provide
most
a
recently
report.
I'd be interested to see if there were any businesses that would be interested, and would
social
it be an
enterprise
employment
that is doing
opportunity as
that,
well?
or you can drop it off at
you know,
Vinnie's in
could
Double.
create
They've got a large
things.
facility as well that takes
Look,
those.
I'm doing the same.
You
I'm
can
driving
still
over
drop
to Orange when
a bag at the back of food works these days, which is sort of the only option that we have in town.
Most recently,
Wangarang,
which is obviously not very
convenient because you won't get your
social enterprise
that is
doing
doing
that,
the other
or you
facilities.
can
So drop it off at
it is
Vinnie's
quite
in
a
Double.
difference, but
They've got a large
the volumes and
facility
the
as well
cost
that takes
will
those.
be quite an eye opener.
You can still drop a bag at the back of food works
Right,
these
any other further
days,
comment?
which is sort of the only option that we have in town, essentially.
Wait a minute, hang on.
Which is obviously not very convenient because you
just
won't
to
get
note,
your
I've
cash
been
instantly
trying to
as
deal with
as
these
it is at
people
the
for
other
the last 3 or 4
facilities.
years.
So it is quite a
I
difference.
don't know
but
how many emails,
the
how many
volumes
phone
and the
calls.
cost
I received one back.
will be quite an eye
I've gone
opener.
to Roy Butler's office several times.
Right, any other further comment? Paul.
I haven't got any further, any gains. One phone
Wait a
call I
minute.
did have. There she's gone. They said that, just to note, I've been you had to have a trying to minimum deal of with these people 7,000 for the last people. 3 or 4 years. I don't know how many emails, how many phone calls. I haven't got that in received the one shop. back. But I've if gone you go through over Roy to Fulton, Butler's have a look, office they've got 3 outlets. Several times. Somebody telling lies. I haven't got any But further, I've any got nowhere gains. with One it. phone I call I cannot did even have. get them to return a phone call. They or said an email. that you
You're
had
the
to
man,
have a
Patrick.
minimum of 7,000 people. I get them, Patrick. Yep. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for.
We haven't got that in the Shire.
Right, no further
But
comments
if
on
you go
that.
over
I
to
think
Fulton,
we've
have a look,
got the
they've
basis
got
to
3
it and
outlets.
see what we can get to come back on that one.
Somebody
So
tell
all those
them
in favour?
But I've got nowhere with
Those
it. I
against?
cannot even get them to
Carried.
return a phone
Right
call.
now
or
to
an email.
page 96, 11.3, a notice
You're the
of
man,
motion.
Patrick.
Council Government
I'll get 'em,
review and
Patrick.
ordinance
Yep.
and advocacy
Thank you, Mr.
following
Mayor.
a
Thank
violent
you for-
incident.
thank you,
Councillor.
No further comments on that. I
Anita
think we've
Coleman has
got the
brought
basis
this
to it and
notice
see what we can
forward.
get to come back on on that one. So all those in favour? Thank you. All against? Those against? Seconded, carried. Right now to page 96, 11.3, a notice of motion. Right. Council of Governance review and ordinance. There you go. We need and advocacy following.
I want to start by acknowledging the lives
incident,
lost and the deep trauma that has caused. This has caused for the Lake Gilligo community and
you'd like to move that.
And the Lachlan Shire community.
Seconded,
this will leave
Councillor
a
Blewett.
long-standing trauma for many years to come.
There you go, we need it.
This motion is brought with care and respect. I want to start by acknowledging the lives lost and the deep trauma that has caused. The accountability for the Lake Gilligo community of this situation does not mean assigning any blame to anybody in the Lachlan Shire community. But as council, I feel we have a responsibility to respond to the situation for many years to come. This motion is brought with care and respect and a strong sense of responsibility. Active police investigation and industrial accountability of this situation does not mean assigning any blame to anybody or discussing any individual but as council, I feel we have a responsibility to an independent review where legally permissible in any of our systems. This motion has been carefully framed to respect an active police investigation and industrial law. It could respond differently next time. Explicitly avoids preempting any outcomes or discussing any individual employment matters or protocols in place. I'm just requesting an independent review where legally permissible in any of our systems employee conduct that are currently in place for work or any risk escalation. I know that as a council we are not responsible or cannot oversee any operational matters or protocols in place. I just think we have a responsibility for transparency to the community, employee conduct, because our community trust has been impacted as this alleged incident has been by a council employee. I know that as a council we are not responsible or cannot oversee any operational matters, and I'm not trying to do that. I would just think we have a responsibility for transparency to the community. If there is something that we community trust has been impacted, some kind of intervention this alleged incident has been by a council employee. Helped the situation. Council resources have been not used. The situation. I'm probably mixing my words here. If there was something in place where we are aware of anything going on that we could have done differently. If there is something that we could have done, some kind of intervention that could have from council helped the situation to the New South Wales government. That situation, I'm probably mixing my words here. Need increased resources. There was something in place where we are aware of anything going on response that we could have done domestic and family violence. I would also like to see advocacy. It's a scourge on our society at the moment. From council, one woman a week to the New South Wales government. We are in a position to provide that leadership, resources and funding and advocacy for crisis response. We need to advocate for an enhanced community safety. It is it's a scourge on our society at the moment. One woman a week there is only so much we can do. We are in a position we need to provide that leadership to our community and the advocacy. We need to advocate for an enhanced community safety.
All right, would someone like to further comment?
And
I think because
I understand there is only so much we can do. I just feel like we need to be doing something more.
And that's the basis to it.
In the response and the advocacy.
I think it'll be an ongoing thing while there's still a police matter. Thank you, Juanita. That's from your heart.
We can't sort of snap straight into it.
Would someone like to further comment?
And I think everybody else does too.
Because I think you're actually asking for us to actually review our policy.
Just really briefly, like to thank Councillor Coleman for bringing this forward.
It'll be an ongoing
I think it's appropriate following any critical incident to review our own policies and procedures. I won't foreshadow any outcome out of those policies or procedures, but I'd like to at least just really briefly give that undertaking to Councillor Coleman for bringing this forward. We will review our policies. I think it's appropriate following any critical incident to review our own policies and procedures.
Right. Any other further comments?
Foreshadow any outcome out of those policies or procedures, but I'd like to at least
congratulate Councillor
give that undertaking to the community that we will review our policies and procedures in detail.
I've experienced personally the effects of DV issues.
Right. Any other further
family
comments?
in the years gone by,
Harris.
And it's not a pretty outcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No, I congratulate Councillor
Coleman
on
still many issues in this motion.
Field.
I think the problem we've got is that
I've experienced personally the effects
really
reacting
to
issues,
the information that's already
in
out
family.
there. I know
in the years gone
South
by.
Australia last year had a Royal Commission into domestic violence.
It's not a pretty outcome.
I think they reported
August last year.
As Councillor Coleman, there's still many issues in that.
Had a Royal Commission into domestic violence.
I think the problem we've got is that
2015, 2016,
we're not really
hundreds of recommendations have come out of those inquiries. South Australia last year had a Royal Commission into domestic violence. I think they reported August last year, following through with some of these recommendations. Victoria government in a Royal Commission into domestic violence issues. Some get enacted on, some don't.
Some get pushed aside. Hundreds of recommendations that come out of that's where the problem to me lies. It's between the original education, the problem schools, and then the lack at the moment trying to following through counteract some of these recommendations. What's happening, and as I say, I think we've had the inquiries out there. The some get enacted on, some I can see don't come out of those. Some get pushed aside. 2 royal commissions. So I think that's where the problem. But we're just not following through with it. Lies. It's still happening. The original education basis, as Councillor Coleman said, and it's just on and then on at the moment and trying to counteract what's happening. Victims, as I say, I think we've had the inquiries out there. It's there the information is very much the same. Something that I can see that's come out of those 2. You can move on in life. I hate that word, move on in life. But we're just not following. They never move on. It's still happening to move on, but you don't move on a regular basis. It's always with Councillor Coleman said. All that fear on and on and on. What's happened or could particularly happen in the future. It's just a horror on the victims, horrible thing. The long-term victims. As a council, it's there forever. Is there anything that we can do to advocate, brushes off, be proactive, move on in life? I know it's difficult. That word move on in life involved. They never move on. All the time to move on, but you don't move on. It's always with you. The more we can do, the opportunities we get to do it, I think it could particularly happen. Be well and truly worthwhile in trying to push horrible things. So I think as a council, as much as we possibly can, anything that we can do to advocate, be proactive at any stage. I know it's difficult because there's a cost involved all the time, and with that. But the more we can do, the opportunities
I would just like to say that this motion is about saying to our community that we see you, we take this seriously, and we're willing to look inward as well as outward.
As much as we possibly can. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Harris. Very well done. Right, any other further comment? Any further comments before I put it? Reply. All right.
I would just like to say that this motion is about saying to our community that we see you, we take this seriously, and we're willing to look inward as well as outward.
Notices of rescission. I don't think we've got any of those.
Thank you very much.
Delegates' reports.
Well done bringing it forward like
that
in a holiday period.
Any further comments?
But I think things are going to ramp up now a little bit.
All right. All those in favour? Those against? Right. Page 98. 14, correspondence. Would someone like to move the recommendation notices of rescission? Councillor Phillips. Councillor Harris. Delegates' reports. Sorry, Robin. We're supposed to be in a holiday period. All right. Any of these correspondence ramp up now a little bit? Talk about. All right. Right. Page 98. 14, correspondence. Would someone like to move the recommendation of the correspondence, please? Councillor Phillips. Hang on. Councillor Harris. Your way. Sorry, Robin.
You know, we keep hearing about Bondi, Bondi.
Any of these correspondence you want to
never stops.
Talk about?
And yet, if you take what happened at Lake Jellicoe, and the 4 people who were killed, 3 people plus a child, unborn child,
Councillor Brady.
It's even a bigger thing than that what actually happened
Your way.
Bondi. You know, I see the report in there somewhere where we're talking about the difference in population. And it never stops. And yet, if you take what happened at Lake when this was happening, I said we'll hardly get any publicity for anything that we said about it. Unborn child. The Prime Minister arrived in Bondi than that would actually happen. Okay, he lives a few miles away, I guess, if Bondi had to come. And I see the Premier Chris there somewhere where we're talking about the very population and so. And yet, days later, we never said any of that to people. I said we'll hardly get any publicity or anything will be said about it. And as far as the Prime Minister. Like that was as big he lives a few miles away, I guess. Bigger hurt than what actually happened. The Premier Chris Minns was, and yet there's been no reaction. Yet, days later, we never said any of those people. They never came anywhere. We had our local people. And as far as fair enough, the locals, like Jellicoe, that was as big as like write a letter, bigger hurt. Than what actually happened. They have not supported, and yet there's been no reaction. Virtually, a horrible thing that happened. Governments, and it probably should have happened. We had our local people. The way things happened today, fair enough. They're the locals. You know, somebody's got an AVO. They report to the police. And this is all they got to do. No one even knows they have not supported. And here, these 2 people who shot a horrible thing that happened. ASIO it probably should have happened, but the way things happen today, you know, somebody's got an AVO. Why aren't we they report to able to see what's going to happen? And this is all they got to do. No one even knows that they got that AVO. Well, and that person has got a good chance. They might do something. These 2 people, what can we do? Shot at Bondi. ASIO had been looking at that last motion, and I agreed, did nothing. And I just agree we've got to do more. What's wrong? Why aren't we able to see what's going to happen sometime there and look into that crystal ball? I've been on a domestic violence committee for many years. Has got a good chance they might do something. It doesn't seem to intervene. We still get domestic violence. We've got to get out there and stop. We need to move that last motion, and I just find, well, I'd like to just agree we've got to do more and to the federal government. We have thanking them for their personal response. I've been on a domestic violence committee for many, many years, and I have, it doesn't seem to stop. We still get domestic violence. What I'm going to say is, I think if we don't tell them, well, they don't know. I just find, well, I'd like, as we know, us to write a letter to the Mountain Range takes a lot to get them over their personal response. What can we do about doing something about it? Come to Lake of Jellicoe to support the people.
Hang on. Right, start again.
What I'm saying is, I think if we don't tell them, well, they don't know. They don't realise. As we know, that Mountain Range takes a lot to get them over it. So, what can we do about doing something?
Are they attending the funeral March 12th?
What's that again, sorry?
Is there anyone from the state government attending the funeral March 12th?
Yep, start again. Will be.
We've just thanked the state government in the Mayoral Minute.
They have been informed, and also
specific
I've got to say, Dennis, that Chris Minns did ring. There's no question about that.
Oh.
But yeah.
Are they attending the funeral March 12th?
The Premier's Department is the one that's been fantastic.
Is anyone from the state government attending the funeral March 12th?
I'm not
I can't say who, but they have been informed, and also I've got to say, Dennis, that Chris Minns did ring. There's no question about that. But Margaret Beasley, I've got to give her credit. I've been in contact with her 2 or 3 times. The Premier's Department is the one that's been the fantastic support.
I understand completely what you're saying. It's a very different. Okay, both the shooting and one's terrorism, one's domestic violence. Domestic violence will never get the airtime that it deserves. And I will say that wholeheartedly. It never does. They won't acknowledge that it's an epidemic. One woman a week, maybe, I think it might be every 4 to 5 days they actually are murdered. I understand completely what you're saying. It's a very different. I don't know if we should both the shooting and one's send a letter in domestic violence. Domestic violence will never get the airtime that it deserves. And I will say that wholeheartedly. It never does. They won't acknowledge that it's an epidemic. One woman a week, maybe, I think it might be every 4 to 5 days they actually are murdered.
Well, what would you like to do? You'd like to?
I don't know if we should send a letter and discuss.
Judy.
I want to advocate to them. I want to push them to do more with domestic violence.
Like the Premier's office
send a letter and ask him why haven't they?
Yeah,
but
why
they were on the
they
phone.
Then supported our community.
Had meetings. They came out to the Land Council, had meetings with us.
What would you like to do? Would you like to?
Yes, they have supported us.
I'm not denying that.
Judy,
I'm just saying.
You're criticising them for what they've done. It's okay to criticise. Yes, you are. That's exactly what
Hold. Judy, you just have your say, please. Come on.
They were on the phone. Yep. They had meetings.
Terrible.
They came out to the Land Council, had meetings with us.
And we need more support down the track.
All the services in Lake
at the moment, we can't do anything.
I'm not denying that.
We haven't had closure.
We didn't even get comments out of the
yes, you are. That's
exactly
Hold. Judy, you just have your say, please.
Reinsurance for the community of Lake and Murray Bridge.
Terrible.
But we didn't get it. We do need support. And we need more support down the track. Town meeting. At the moment, and they said we can't do anything, tell us anything because what's out in the news is all they need to. We didn't even get comments out of the police minister. We were asking
Johnny, I just like to support
reinsurance for the community of Lake and Murray Bridge, but we didn't get it. We asked for a community meeting,
we're in touch with everybody out there. They've had more police,
and they said they couldn't
more
tell us
media,
anything because of
more than
what's out
anything
in
else
the news
possible.
is all
I can
they
tell you
need
this,
to.
Dennis. People are sick and friggin' tired of the media and police at this said. Johnny, I just like to support Judy's remarks.
Yep.
They feel sorry for the folks that have been concerned. But these people keep, as Judy said, the Premier office, we're in touch with everybody out there. Told they had more police, more media, more than anything else possible. I can tell you this, Dennis. People are sick and friggin' tired of the media and police. They've been interviewed several times. Over them. So I don't know, but I think they've all done a wonderful job. That have been concerned, but these people
denying any of that.
Media keep harassing people that actually in Yabblong them been told don't come back.
That they themselves personally didn't bother.
Consistent. more interviews. The police still going to interview on the same people. They've been interviewed several times.
I'm not saying that they're not supporting the
I don't know, but I think they've all done a wonderful job. Believe you me.
But denying any of that would have been good if, you know. Paul, I'm just saying is the fact that they themselves personally didn't bother. The Premier and the Prime Minister came on out say we support you as well. To show
it's just on behalf of Lake Jellicoe, I think, and the surrounding towns, I think they've been very supportive. All departments of the government, I think they're more than happy.
I know that. But
I think the other thing is, Paul, that when Chris Minns rang up, he gave me his private number, his mobile number,
and the Premier and the Prime Minister came on out.
Don't hesitate to ring me.
We support you as well.
Margaret Beasley.
Well, then it's just on behalf of Lake Jellicoe, I think, and the surrounding towns, I think they've been very supportive. All departments of the government, I think they're more than happy.
And that sort of thing, and the other services, the lifelines and Paul, down the tracks, and when Chris Minns rang up, he gave me his private number, his mobile number. It was a comment made to me about a week after what you and the same as Margaret Beasley was that if we could shut the media down for a bloody week, it'd be a good idea. Because it did start to get under the Premier's Department, the way they work, through Jerry, and that sort of thing, and the other services, your lifelines and your down the tracks.
Can I just throw a little bit of a twist in on that
sort of thing,
as to how all this functions and doesn't
comment made to me about a week after what you emphasised
where we're now living down
that if we could shut the media down for a bloody week,
you can hear the dogs barking across the river.
Because it did start to get under the
Wabbelong. And we've got
a
road going past, a gravel road. Funny enough, it's called Phillips Road, but it's got no... Can I just throw a little bit of a twist in on that as to how all this functions? Thursday night, when this happened, we were going to go down there, and we thought, where we're now living down at the property, we were worried, so we stayed in contact. You can hear the dogs barking. So we went down on the Friday, got down there Friday afternoon, and we had Polly up above us, a road going past, a gravel road. We had 4 police cars that went along Phillips Road. I've seen one paddy wagon go past there in 25 years. The Thursday night when this happened, we were going to go down there and we thought, well, no, this is probably not a... You imagine what I'm thinking, and even worse with Andrea. So we went down on the Friday, we got down there Friday afternoon, and we had Polly up above us. I was getting hay for the cattle. We had 4 police cars that went along, got some hay, came back. I've seen one paddy wagon go past there in 25 years. Police, and there was 4 police cars go over the road, 200 metres up the road, and they pull up, and the police cars would spin around, or they'd walk. You imagine what I'm thinking, come and see worse with Andrea. What I was doing, who I was, nothing. I was getting hay for the cattle. I went up last Saturday, across the road, got some hay, came back. 4 police on foot walked the length of Phillips Road. Police, and there was probably 5 or 6 right past our gate was open. See, they weren't that far away. I think 3 ladies and one male back or something, and come and see what I was doing, who I was. No one walked out. Nothing. Not one. I mean, we could have been lying dead inside the house, or 4 police on foot. I just would have thought that the length of common sense would have said, well, right past our gate was open. We're just right near your Abalong, like you swim across the creek and you're in your Abalong. You would have thought that no one walked out. I mean, I feel like getting on the phone. Not one. Well, I mean, we could have been lying dead inside the house, or AAA or whatever. And I just would have thought that. I just thought, well, common sense would have said, well, I'll vent my. Here's the house. I wonder. Mild frustration. We're just right near your Abalong. But it was a safety issue across the creek, and you're in your Abalong that Friday night. You would have thought that after. I mean, it's, we had everything. I mean, I feel like getting on the phone. I thought, well, who am I going to ring? I'm not. I haven't got time to spend 2 hours on hold. Lying in bed, couldn't sleep, and then listen to every noise that's going on outside, and not once on that Friday afternoon before we went to bed. Frustration. Did they come down and say, "Oh"? But it was a safety issue for us. I mean, that Friday night, the night after. I mean, we had everything locked. I just don't know how the system works. The length of stick, chain on it. Lying in bed, couldn't sleep. Listen to every noise that's going on outside, and not once on that Friday afternoon before we went to bed did they come down and say, "Oh, how are you going? Oh, you're such and such. Okay, we'll make sure you're okay. We'll check in."
Well, I think we've all had a comment.
I just don't know how the system works. But anyway, that's just.
No, I think we'd have, because
I think if we're going to write a letter,
last week there was police came through the front door of the person's place.
I think if we're going to write any sort of letter, I'd like to write to the state government for an investigation into the bail laws.
Well, I think we've all had a comment.
Not necessarily criticising anybody or anyone. I just feel like that sort of investigation would be more appropriate than placing blame at this stage. I think if we're going to write any sort of letter, I'd like to write to the state government for an investigation into the bail laws. for domestic violence offenders. I would like to not necessarily criticising anybody or anyone. I just feel like that sort of investigation would be more appropriate to domestic violence offenders than placing blame at this stage.
You need a comment or second that. Would you like to move that way before we put it together?
Yes, I would like to move a motion that we write a letter to the
thank
state
you for putting
government,
that through, Councillor.
Asking
through the
for
Mayor.
a review
If
of
I
the
may,
bail laws, particularly in relation to domestic violence
happy to write a letter in regard to that, but would like to note that the police have declared it a critical incident, and there is 2 lines of investigation. One's into the shootings themselves and going through everything that led up to that. Thank you for putting that through, Councillor. And through the one, the other investigation, as we all know, is the investigation. Happy to write a letter in regard to that, but would like to note that in some ways police have declared already under investigation, and there is 2 lines of investigation. One's into the shootings themselves, a letter and going through everything that led up to that, and the other investigation, as we all know, is the investigation looking for the alleged
a prevalent problem.
So
I just would like
in some ways
some sort of investigation, like support
in
for an
regard to that
investigation
incident.
into the bail laws, because
Are you
something
wanting
needs to happen.
a letter?
I'm not sure what the solution could be or may be, but I'd like us to send a letter in our requesting investigation into those bail laws, especially in relation to domestic violence offenders. And I just would like some sort of investigation, like support for an investigation into the bail laws, because something needs to happen.
Bail laws, are they not?
I'm not sure what the solution could be or may be, but I'd like maybe we can write a letter requesting investigation into those bail laws, especially in relation to domestic violence offenders.
Thank you for that clarification.
There probably was something similar after the death of Molly Ticehurst, and they did change some legislation around that, so that's probably what they'll come back
we have the
with.
AFP as well, so maybe we can write to the
thing
federal
is, it's coming
Parliament
from
as well.
Lachlan Shire. Yeah. All right,
So
I
you're
think
happy
we've
with that,
we need a debate, and I thank you for your respect for everything that's been said.
Say that
All right, all those in favour?
there probably
Those
was
against?
something similar after the death of Molly
That was the correspondence, by the
Ticehurst,
way.
and they did change some legislation around that, so that's probably what they'll come back with.
Righto, page 99,
That's okay. The thing is, it's
questions
coming from
which
Lachlan
notice
Shire.
has been given as
Yeah.
nil petitions.
All right,
I
I
didn't
think
see any of
we've,
those.
it's a good debate, and I thank you for
someone
your
like
respect
to
for everything
move
that's
us
been
into
said.
closed session.
All right, all those in favour?
Councillor Turner and
Those
Councillor
against? That is carried.
Rees, and I'd like to, before all those in favour, those against, I'd like to, might have a 5-minute break, eh? All those in favour? Those against? That is carried. Now I'll ask Ian if he'd like to read out the recommendations of the closed session. Thank you kindly, sir. I like this general manager.
17.1 partial water consumption write-off assessment.
Send your thing on.
17.1, heading closed, the partial water consumption write-off assessment 1034724 and update on assessment 1066200, former Lake Cargelligo Sports Club. The resolution was the Executive Manager Finance and Government Report R26-1 be received and noted, and 2, that Council approves to write off part of the water consumption on assessment number 1034724 totalling of $2,993 due to faulty council infrastructure. 17.2, the Central New South Wales JO tender assessment for the supply of cold mix asphalt. The recommendation was that the Director of Infrastructure Services report R2617 be received and noted. The Council accepts and signs a contract with the following organisations for the supply and delivery of cold mix asphalt. That is A. Downer EDI Works Proprietary Limited for use of 10mm and 7mm. B. Fulton Hogan Industries Proprietary Limited for use of 10mm and 7mm. C. Civil Independence Industries Proprietary Limited, use for 10mm only. And D. Bitchapave Limited, use for 5mm only. And that 3. The General Manager be authorised to sign the contract documents and affix the Council seal if required. And 4. That the Central New South Wales Joint Organisation be advised of Council's decision. 17.3, the draft ARIC Strategic Work Plan 2025-2029. The resolution was that the Executive Manager Governance and Finance Report R26-22 be received and noted. The draft ARIC Strategic Work Plan 2025-2029 be adopted.
Should be doing the move in a second.
Would you know?
Take shortcuts.
It's like I've never had it before. 17.4, Waste and Recycling Collection Services. The resolution was that the Director of Environmental and Planning Report number R26-21 be received and noted. 2, that Council decides that Section 55.3.1 of the Local Government Act 1993 applies to the extension of contract C2016-6 with JR and EG Richards and Sons Proprietary Limited for the provision of waste, recycling and organic collection services for the following reasons. A. Extenuating circumstances due to an introduction of the Food Organics and Garden Organics Waste Mandate, a limited extension time to contract C2016-6 is proposed, which makes it difficult to compile a competitive long-term tender package. Which makes it difficult to compile a competitive long-term tender package that is likely to attract a variety of tenderers. B. The remoteness of locality. The provision of waste services for Lachlan Shire Council is likely commercially marginal due to low waste volumes and large distances to disposal points. C. The unavailability of competitive or reliable tenderers. Any new tenderer would have to establish a relatively small operation for a relatively short time frame, find depot locations, purchase equipment such as rubbish trucks, and hire and train staff such as truck and depot operators, with those costs being reflected in their tender bid. 3. Council varies Clause 2.2.4, Item 4C of Contract 2016-6 with JR and EG Richards and Sons Proprietary Limited to expand the maximum extension period from 3 years to 6 years. 4. Council exercises Clause 2.2.3 to extend the existing Contract 2016-6 with JR and EG Richards and Sons Proprietary Limited for a further 2 year and 0 months ending 30th of June 2028 with an option for a further 1 year extension by mutual agreement with a minimum notice period of 6 months. And 5, that the Mayor and General Manager be authorised to sign the contract documents and affix the Council seal if required. And 17.5, House 1318 Kayakatu Road, Condobolin, and 19 McDonald Street, Condobolin. The resolution was that the Director of Environmental and Planning Report number R26-19 be received and noted. Council acknowledges the current condition of the premises located at House 1318 Kayakatu Road, Condobolin, and 19 McDonald Street, Condobolin, allocates funds within the 2025-2026 Building Capital Works 10-year asset renewal plan to have the properties demolished and engages a suitably qualified consultant to ensure the sites are free from contamination following the demolitions. And finally, 17.6. The resolution was the Executive Manager of Finance in regard to licensed part of Lake Kajilico Aerodrome, known as Part Lot 173 DP 752329. The Executive Manager Finance and Governance report be received and noted, and that part of Lake Kajilico Aerodrome, known as Part Lot 173 DP 752329, shown within the pink line on the map attached, corresponding to 12.8 hectares, be advertised through an expression of interest process at a starting rental fee of $1,265 per annum plus GST for a term of 1 year. Lessee will pay the cost of legal expenses, construct stock-proof fencing around the licensed area at their own expense, and obtain public liability insurance for the same. And finally, 17.7, confirmed ARIC minutes 2025 financial year and 16th of October 2025 meetings. Resolution was the Executive Manager Finance and Governance report number R26-29 be received and noted. The confirmed minutes of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee ARIC meetings held during the 2025 financial year and for the 16th of October 2025 be received and noted. I thank Council for your attention.
Thank you very kindly, sir. And I declare the meeting closed. Thank you very much for your attendance. And now I'd like to go around the room and see whether anybody's got something